Jimmy, it's wonderful to be talking to you this morning. Not that I wanted to be talking to you at this time. How are you doing today despite everything?
Yeah, good morning, John. I agree. It's too early, but I'm excited to be here with you.
Now, we watched a bit last night, and you were saying to Julie Chen that you actually blame Morgan more than Mickey for what happened. Elaborate on that for us and explain why you feel that way.
Yeah, well, we all know that Morgan, Vince, and Zach are working very closely together.
Right.
And from what I saw on BB Unlocked, they have a new alliance with Mickey called the Melting Pot. So first off, they can send me a thank you letter for that in the mail because that started because of me. So another thing I had a hand in this season for sure. But at the end of the day, Morgan's driving that alliance, and Mickey's definitely at the bottom of it. And so if Mickey knows what's good for her game, Morgan will be going home very soon, and Mickey will lean in to people who have her best interest. That's Will, that's Ashley, that's Rachel.
Right.
These are the people who I even told on my way out. Do not hold anything against Mickey. Go for Morgan, cut the head off the snake. Ironic for me to say, I know, but cut the head off the snake, and you can work with Mickey, especially if you want to get out Vince and Zach. Once Morgan's gone, that bridge is broken, and I stand behind that.
Well, we've seen through the course of the season fan reaction to Morgan's gameplay. What was your feeling? I mean, you had brought a lot of insight to the show and a lot of
Yeah.
insight to the players. What do you think about her gameplay so far?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen what the fans have said yet, but if they think the way I feel, it's not good gameplay. Morgan is working with too many people, which is ironic for me to say, I know, but she's working with too many people. And at the end of the day, Morgan doesn't flesh out decisions or conversations. She is,
Right.
it's her way or the highway with every decision she makes. And if you don't follow that decision, then you're going against her or you're not good for her game.
Yeah.
She's also overly paranoid. Mickey, Morgan, and I weren't able to continue building a strong relationship like I was with somebody like Rachel because we were never allowed to be seen together to avoid being put on the block next to each other. And at the end of the day, I think that came down to, I think that really was the downfall of the triple threat is that we weren't able to build that solid trust and foundation because Morgan didn't want to be in the same room as Mickey and I for more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time.
Now, looking back at your HOH, I mean, what a cluster that was.
Yeah.
Not for you, but you kept getting thrown these twists. If you looking back, I know it's a bit early, but looking back, would you have done anything different than you did?
I probably would have put up Vince during my HOH if I'd really thought about it, but he was playing me just like everybody else at the time, so I didn't quite see it. And honestly, when you're dealing with powers and people taking themselves off and putting up, for the first time in history, 5 people in one HOH, John, you are normally looking at 3 HOHs to put up this many people. So at the end of the day, I was trying to get as little blood on my hands as possible. I knew Adrian and Will sticking around, they wouldn't hold much against me, considering they were my third and fifth nominees, respectively. Amy was an emotionally unknown quantity.
Right.
So because of that, I had to get rid of her. It made the most sense. If I couldn't get out a target, I could get out an unknown
Right.
or somebody I saw as being in the gray area. Amy one day is your best friend, and the next day she wakes up and runs right to Vince telling him to put you up. That's not something I can deal with in this game. Even if she could have been a number for me one day, she would have voted me out the next. And that's just not something I could have dealt with in my game. So no regrets, all things considered.
Well, I spoke to Amy and about her comment when she left the house, and I said, "What did you hope to accomplish by that?" And she said, he's a liar. He's
Yeah.
lying through his teeth. He's such a liar. He lies all the time. I wanted to call him out so bad in the house so many times, but I did it. So I was like, well, I'm going to just say it and I'm going to let them know. What's
Yeah.
your reaction to that?
Who's Amy again? No, Amy's a beautiful person and an
Yeah.
incredible light in this world. I held nothing against her, but thanks for helping me build that brand, Amy. And also, nobody heard you because you said it when you were leaving the door. So mission not accomplished on that one.
Now, you early on you were at odds with Rachel.
Yep.
Then you became really close to her to the point where you were sharing strategy back and forth. Was she more of a liability or more of an asset to your game looking back?
Definitely an asset. I think Rachel's actually an underutilized asset in the house. She's played the game not once, not twice, but now 3 times.
Right.
And I think people need to realize she has a wealth of knowledge in this game and somebody to work closely with, not use as a shield or try to keep around till jury. And I think I might have realized that a little too late myself. But connecting with Rachel was by far and away one of my favorite experiences of being on this season. She is the best mother, an incredible player, and an even better friend. And knowing Rachel Riley really is to love Rachel Riley.
Now, if you had stayed in the house, what was your plan for the future for you and Rachel? Was there a time where you're thinking like, I'm gonna have to cut her, or did you want to bring her to the end?
There was never an opportunity where I would have cut Rachel,
Yeah.
especially after the way she rallied to my corner after I was put up. Rachel would have gone to top two with me if I had the option. Say we're looking at an HOH where there's four people competing and I win and get to pick somebody to take to final two over say Mickey, Morgan, and Rachel.
Right.
10 times out of 10 it would have been Rachel.
Yeah. Now, another big story of yours, well, a double story of yours going over the season was your relationship with Keanu, up, then down, then up again. And the last time you spoke to him when you were campaigning, you said, look, I'm not going to put you up. These are the people I'm going after. Please describe your relationship with him. And were you being honest in that conversation when you're campaigning, saying, look, you're not going to be a target for me going forward if I win Blockbuster and HOH?
Who knows? Listen, Keanu's proved himself to be a video champion, so I do think I would have held up my end of the bargain that I would not have put him up as an initial nominee.
Right.
Though the veto's been used every week so far, and if veto had been used during my second HOH, I would have put him up 100%. I don't want to live with him anymore in that house. I do like him personally, so maybe that's where we saw the back and forth. But as a game player, I've said it once and I've said it again, his gameplay is so full of shit, the toilet's jealous. I still believe that, and I feel very vindicated after seeing his goodbye message. Though I stopped listening after the first couple of words, which is usually what happens when Keanu starts talking.
Now, Keanu in the house, again, he's been a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's managed to save himself winning vetoes.
Yep.
How do you see his gameplay unfolding? Because it seems to be he's like always public enemy number one.
I still think he's public enemy number one, especially after hearing that Ava's won the most recent HOH, and I think we remember they had a little dust up at the end of the last veto.
Right.
So I think we're to the point where people realize if you want to get Keanu out, you gotta do what Mickey did to me. You gotta put him up with only the blockbuster to save himself. I think if the blockbuster has anything to do with mental smarts or any finesse, he's going to lose. And at that point, if he's on the block on eviction night, he goes home 10 times out of 10. Yeah. So I think his luck might have just run out this week. So I know I'll be tuning in, and hopefully Keanu's next out the door.
Now, we saw you in the house on the live feeds back and forth, and you were as much about playing the game as also giving good TV. Do you think you found that balance when you were in the house of having good gameplay, but also, you want to be entertaining for the people on the live feeders and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I was entertaining. I still have yet to see what the response and the reaction would be, though I've gotten some hints it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. I think overall, my blunders were less on being entertaining and more on strategic gameplay. And I pride myself on being really good on strategy. But I think at the end of the day, I should have listened more than I spoke, and I shouldn't have over-aligned as quickly as I did. I think those are my biggest blunders. I think actually me being entertaining is one of the things that endeared me to a lot of people in the house because it's authentic. It's who I am. Yeah. That's me at a family dinner, and that's me in a night out with friends. You get it all out on the table, and then you deal with it on the other side. That's how I live life. Yeah. That's how I played the game. So there's no regrets on me for that one. And again, I think it didn't come back to bite me because the house did see it as authentically who I was. So at the end of the day, I think it maybe might have worked to my favor a little bit, but who knows?
Well, you always have to be true to yourself. Now, one final thing before we go.
Yep.
Would it bother you if you were termed as a Big Brother villain? And based on the impact you've had this season, would you consider coming back and playing again? Fans are already asking that question.
I would come back every time I'm asked. I will say yes. Big Brother, CBS, they call me. I say yes. If I ever came back as a villain, I'm happy to come back in whatever capacity they want me to. I've really enjoyed playing this game, and I have a lot more to show. I think America knows that. I think the world knows that. So who knows? Stay tuned because this isn't the last people are going to see of Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy, you definitely had an impact this season, not only on the entertainment value, but the gameplay. Yeah. It's nice to see somebody willing to embrace that villain persona. Yeah. All the best to you. And
thanks, John.
Cannot wait to hear what you have to say at the finale.
Me either, John. I think America's getting ready to buckle up. They're waiting to see what I'm going to wear and what I'm going to say. And I think a lot in store.